All right. Well, today is a bird that is very common uh, in European folklore and is highly associated with several aspects of German culture. And it is a bird that is very famous, very well known, and I can't believe I haven't done it before. Today's bird is the clockiest of all birds. It is the common cuckoo. That's right, it's time for a cuckoo bird. We haven't done a cuckoo bird yet. It's the cuckoo. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Yeah, cuckoo. Which, honestly, I'm looking at this bird right there. It's like, okay, so is this like the cross between a common rock pigeon and a peregrine falcon?
Possibly.
Because it's
I
kind of
don't
got the
know.
pigeon head and body, but it's kind of got those falcon-like wings, and the body stripes are kind of falcony, and but it's just got little pigeon feet. It's like, I don't know. it, they're
Yeah,
cool.
there comes Hassel with the German name Kuckuck.
Kuckuck. Yes.
In German, we call them Kuckuck, and
Ist
it was the
ein Kuckuck.
first.
Sorry
It
for
was the
my...
first bird that came to mind because there is a famous, well, a very widespread German folk song about it, about a cuckoo who wants to marry another bird.
That sounds beautiful. Can you sing that for us?
Oh God, sure. I think the bassline goes. Ein Kuckuck wollte Hochzeit machen in dem schönen Walde. Fidaralala, fidaralala. Basically, very simple
It's
melody.
beautiful. Thank you. All right. See, even look at these guys in flight. Even in flight, they look a little falconish. But they are not a falconiform. They're a cucouliform, which all cuckoo birds are in the order cucouliforms. Cuckoo birds are kind of their own thing, but today we're talking specifically about the common cuckoo. And as you can see on the map range down there, they are very much a Eurasian bird. But interestingly, they are a migratory bird, and so they spend most of the spring through fall up in the Eurasian areas, going all the way, pretty much all of Europe and most of Asia. For some reason, they don't like India for some reason, or like that little bit north of the Himalayas. I don't know why they aren't in that area, but it's just like the rest of the continent, they sure love it. They just don't go too far north. But then during the winter time, they're going to head down, and most of them will go to what looks like to be sub-Saharan Africa, but also little bits of India and the kind of that Southeast Asian area. So, maybe a little bit of Vietnam and Laos in there. It's, kind of cool areas. But yeah, they are a 13-inch long bird from beak to tail. With a good 22 to 24-inch wingspan. And as you can see there, yeah, they're one of those birds that's got much bigger wingspan than their body length.
What's that in European measurements?
Okay, so 13 inches is probably going to be about 30 to 35 centimeters. 20 to 24
Cool.
inches is going to be probably 50-ish centimeter wingspan. Sounds about right.
Oh, they're so much bigger than I expected them to be.
Yeah, they're pretty big. 33, okay, Hazio's saying 33 centimeters. Okay. Yeah, because it's close to 2.5 centimeters per inch. It's not quite 2.5, but it's close. Ounces to grams, I'm not sure. But they don't weigh a whole lot. And then I don't know the metric conversion for years.
Hassel is there.
So I know that so just so you know, 3 years is about a kill a day. Just I think that's a conversion there. That's what you use in Europe, right? Just metric years is like a kill a day.
Whatever you say. Keep talking.
A kill a day is just 1,000 days, and so 3 years is it's a little shorter than a kill a day. That's how it works. All right. We're silly around here. We're silly. But yeah, 12 years actually a pretty good lifespan for a wild bird. 12 years. But I think average is more like 7 to 8. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Now, the next panel that I always do is talking about their nesting and the reproductive habits. And, well, I'm afraid this next page is where I might turn on these guys a little bit. So they are polygamous, and the ladies do quite a lot of sleeping around. And, a lady may lay fertilized eggs by up to like a dozen males in a single breeding season. So she gets around, and the males are just like, "Hey, I'm gonna sleep with as many ladies as I want," and it's basically they just sleep around. They do it. They don't really form bonding pairs at all. So yep, the males are totally deadbeats. Males are total deadbeats. The males do not incubate the eggs. The males do not raise the young. But of course, if you know much about the cuckoo, neither do the females. They are what we refer to as a brood parasite. They do not build nests. They do not incubate their eggs. They do not raise their own children. What do? Well, the female will get a fertilized egg, then she will just find the nest of another bird species and will just lay her egg in that nest and just make it somebody else's problem.
Oh no.
Typically in a season, a female is going to visit between 12 and 22 nests, but one mother in 1 year was shown visiting to lay eggs in 50 different nests. None of them cuckoo nests, because cuckoos don't build nests. And so they just let somebody else do it. And come on, people, this is not good behavior. Don't make somebody else raise your nests. But one interesting thing is they found that if a female cuckoo, like let's say a female cuckoo was raised in like, say I don't know, what's the European bird that's not too big? I don't know, like a European robin? That's probably a little too small. These guys are way bigger than European robins. But, like a mid-sized passerine bird. She's going to visit the same nest. So, like, if one type of bird raised her, she's going to go back to that same type of bird's nest. Not always, but it's their preference. And part of that is that they've actually found that, like, there's kind of like an interesting thing is that they lay eggs that look similar to the eggs. And so across their entire range, depending on the region and the commonality of other types of eggs, their eggs are going to resemble the eggs of the species that they're laying their nests in. And so they can have all different kinds of colored eggs and patterns and cool stuff on there because
yes.
part of the whole reason that they lay an egg in his other nest is, well, so like, let's say they laid an egg in a nest that has bright blue eggs and their nest is brown and speckled. Well, that mom's going to be like, that ain't my egg, and push it out of the nest. And so if they have an egg that looks most like the eggs of the babies that they're trying to take over, then they're less likely to be rejected by the mom. And they actually do find that in about 20% of the time, the other mother is going to realize that it's a foreign egg and push it out, and not successful. But 80% of the time, it is working. And the other thing is that the cuckoos have usually a shorter incubation period, so they can be born first. And if a baby cuckoo is born and sees other eggs in the nest, the baby cuckoo will destroy the other eggs. It'll like peck them and destroy them because be like, no, I want all of mama's food.
Yes.
But also because they're a bigger bird and born earlier, they're bigger and stronger than their step siblings and will outcompete them for food from the parents. So actually having a cuckoo in the nest is very bad for the other little babies. So yeah, they're nice. It's not a good
I
thing.
didn't know any of this. I thought cuckoos were like this cute bird from German folklore that has songs written about it. Didn't expect like child murder to come up today.
Yep, we got step sibling infanticide. We got deadbeat parents. Yeah, so as I said in the lesson there, when it comes to reproduction, they're basically just deadbeats and trash. It's not good birds.
Jesus.
Not good birds. Raise your own babies. Come on, people. Come on, it's not acceptable
Game of
behavior.
Thrones bird.
A little bit, a little bit.
Game of Birds.
All right. Well, the cuckoo bird is named after their call because their call is kind of a cuckoo, cuckoo. Kind of sounds like they're saying cuckoo. But this call is only done by the males and only when they're in the Eurasian continents. When they're in Africa in the wintertime, the males don't make this call at all. It has never been observed in Africa of them making the cuckoo call. They're pretty much just quiet. It's entirely a mating thing, so when they're down there in the wintertime, they wouldn't need to make that call. So, yeah, only during breeding season up in the northern areas, and it's kind of interesting. But throughout the entire world, you will hear a cuckoo's call because many of them, especially miniature versions of them, like to live inside clocks, and on the hour will pop out of the clock and do a number of cuckoos equal to what hour it is. So I think that's interesting behavior. I think that's a behavior that originated in Germany, if I recall correctly.
Yes, it did. I know that much because my grandfather used to have one of those really big ornamental original clocks. It's actually really pretty.
God, I would love to have a good.
They don't really sound like the bird, though. It's more like
It's a higher pitch sound for sure than.
Yeah, it goes like doo 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 doo. Yeah. It makes a sound. Sounds a bit like a whistle.
Yes. Well, it's because it literally is a whistle.
Huh.
There's
the more you know.
There's a little tiny bellows inside the cuckoo clocks that blow into a whistle, and that's how it makes the cuckoo sound.
I used to sit in front of that clock and watch it open up and the bird come out.
It's cool. It's fun. I want to get a little cuckoo clock, or maybe I want to get a cuckoo clock that has a little crow come out and caw. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, traditionally it was used with little bellows. I'm sure modern ones probably just use electronics and a sound chip, which is not as interesting. But yeah, the craftsmanship of those old cuckoo clocks it's impressive. Those real artisans making some cool stuff. We like it. But the thing about the cuckoo is, despite living in clocks in people's homes, wild cuckoos actually don't like developed areas. So you're not going to see too many cuckoos in cities or highly developed suburbs. If they're going to be in suburbs, it's going to be a suburb that has lots of trees and vegetation, lots of parks. These guys definitely prefer rural areas. They like the forests. They don't like being around people and development. They like trees and cover and vegetation and stuff like that. That's what they prefer. Now, these guys have been around through a lot of Europe, and I mean, God, I couldn't even make a list of it on here because there were so many, but these guys are like folklore all-stars. There's so much European folklore that involves the cuckoo bird, but they're almost always in folklore an omen of good luck and good fortune. They're a very positive bird. I mean, just like literally hundreds of songs, poems, literature, stories. It's just like oftentimes they'll say like, "Hey, this is featured in this story or this story." And for these guys, there's too many to name. Like, just go to the Wikipedia page, and like literally half the Wikipedia page for these guys is just a list of all the cool folklore and stuff they're in. The other half of it is like the 200 different bird species that they parasite the nests of. They have a very long page.
Yeah,
very long Wikipedia page.
Sign of good luck and good fortune, unless you're a bird.
Yeah, unless you're another type of bird. Poor little guys. But and then in terms of their diet, these guys are insectivorous. They, they'll eat the occasional seed or berry or something like that, but bugs are by far their favorite thing to eat. But they prefer ground bugs. They're not big on catching, they don't do kiting, which is catching flying bugs while in the air. No, they like to walk around the ground and find themselves some ants or grasshoppers, or they especially apparently really like caterpillars. These guys really like caterpillars. Tasty, tasty caterpillars.
That makes sense. Slow, not a lot of work.
easy to catch for sure. You know, do they? I always wonder. It's like cocoons, like with moths or butterflies. You know, going through the metamorphosis in there. Do other animals just like eat the cocoon? Is it like a little? Is it like a Kinder egg or something? Is it like a little gooey stuff on the
Oh, the
outside?
nice little gooey treat.
Yeah. I imagine it's got to happen. Maybe the fibrous husks don't taste good. I don't know. But you know, so the thing is that these birds, their populations throughout the area have stayed stable or even rising in areas. So, in terms of their endangered status, they are a species of least concern. So, not threatened at all. They're doing just fine, which, much to the bane of other birds, might not be too good for their own babies.
Well, I looked it up.
So my thoughts on these guys. Well, I mean, what do I say? I mean, I love the folklore behind them. I love a cuckoo clock. I love their call. I think they're kind of neat looking. But raise your own goddamn babies. Come on. We don't like brood parasites around here. It's definitely a tick against them. I don't know. It's like, I like a lot of things about them. Once they're an adult, they're cool, but it's just like, come on, raise your own goddamn babies. It's like them and cowbirds. Just raise your own goddamn babies. What do you think?
I never knew.
What are your overall thoughts on the cuckoo? Have I shattered your image of them?
I mean, not shattered, but definitely tainted. I just thought they were like this really cute bird, but it turns out that they are jerks. They're apparently jerks.
But the thing is like outside of doing the brood parasitism, they're not super territorial. They're not mean. They're not swooping anybody. They're not stealing food from anybody. They, you know, they're good pest control. So, I mean, other than the reproduction, I think they're great. So it's like, I don't know. Well, we'll give these a C for cuckoo. C rank bird.
Oh, that's a bit brutal.
Is there
How about a
C
plus?
I don't think there's anything too special about their wings. They are larger wings than a bird of their size would normally have. They are excellent flyers. They do some great acrobatics and stuff like that. They're good, nice, strong flyers, good at soaring. But other than that, nothing too special. Just big wings. They got pretty wings. And I do like their patterns on their bellies. I love that striped zebra pattern. And it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. They're a pretty bird. Like I said, they're like a cross between a dove and a falcon.
They really are.
But yeah, beautiful birds, but brood parasites, sorry, it's take against you. But a good bird, glad I covered it. Very interesting bird, very fun bird to talk about. And so yeah, this is a real fun bird of the day. I like talking about the cuckoo, and I can't believe it took me damn near 200 birds before I finally got to them. All right. Well, we're going to call this bird of the day done, and we're going to get ourselves back to the studio.